Well, hello and how are you? Hey friends, it's me again, Shenandoah Briscoe, coming to you live right here in St. Charles, Missouri. Yes, sir, home of the first state capital back in 1821 to 1826. Yeah, I'd like to find out a few more facts about St. Charles because, well, I'm proud of my hometown. And, well, I was blogging about the Christmas thing, but it's done, gone, and over with. So, but I don't know what the next big event's coming here is, but you're welcome to come on out. I tell you what, we have one of the biggest 4th of July celebrations here in St. Charles, right next to St. Louis, would be the next biggest one. So there you go. We're pretty proud of our fireworks display and everything like that there. So hey, anyway, that being said, this is going to be blog number 337. 337, that's right. So there you have it. It's going to be blog number 337. We're getting there, folks. We sure are getting there. I'm so glad to have you folks just watching and paying attention and coming on and tuning in every day. Wish I had some better material for you. It is a new year. I'm going to start doing some new different things with you. Hopefully, I know that there's a lot of people out there that just like my program but don't watch the program. I surely wish they would watch it so they could give me some feedback on it. I know I get a lot of likes, but not a lot of feedback. I do about the only people I ever get feedback from is a friend of mine who's supposed to be moving out this way. He's probably out here now, but anyway, he always gives me feedback about my singing. So I haven't talked to him on the phone for a while, or not the phone, but the computer. I wonder what happened, if they're having trouble with their internet service or what's going on. But anyway, I see their phone pop on and back off. Sorry about that there. I don't know where I was exactly, but I was talking about some friends of mine, and I looked down, and all of a sudden I was having a muscle spasm, and my leg was starting to fold out on me, and I couldn't see what was going on. I think my monitor must be tilted or something, because I sure am having to look up and break my neck pretty high to get my face looking straight into that camera, which is really difficult for me because I keep looking down, and it looks like I'm reading stuff. If I was reading stuff, it'd be different, but I'm not reading anything. I'm just kind of going off the cuff on this. If I was to read something, I don't know what it would be. Maybe I should pick up some commentary off of the internet, the top stories or whatever, top YouTube downloads, who knows, information like they kick off to you at the late shows, all the late shows. You got your Jimmy Fallon, and you got your who's the other one over there on channel 5? I guess it's 5. I don't know. Anyway, you got 2 of them out there that I watch. So, hey. There. My chair button was hitting the side of my table, and it kept changing my gears from drive gears to tilting gears to back and forth. I went from first gear to second gear to my tilt modes, and so my positioning modes, I shall say. But anyway, it's been a good day so far. Did I tell you what blog we're on? Pretty sure I did. Yeah. Anyway, even if I didn't, it's 337, I do believe. So anyway, that being said, I am sure missing my friends. But, I know how it is. They're moving and everything, so their internet may be playing tricks on them, depending on where they're living right now and what kind of internet service they've got. Because, I tell you what, whenever you go to the hospital and they've got that DirecTV that DirecTV dish, it 5 minutes into watching a program, cloud goes over and you lost your TV show. And it's like, hey, come on, That's why I decided, DirecTV's not for me. I hate to disappoint any of y'all out there that are watching that work for DirecTV, but wouldn't work for me because at the hospital you can't even get decent reception. You would think a big, huge building like that would draw reception anyway, regardless of whether it was had that little dish on it or not. Ouch. That's like right now I've got that antenna, regular old antenna, and shoot, I draw all kinds of stations unless a train goes by. But I point my antennas over there at McDonnell Douglas, but, well, I guess it's not McDonnell Douglas anymore. Boeing, over to Boeing building over there, where they make the rockets and the missiles. They used to make the fighter jets over there. No, they've always been the laboratory and rockets and missiles and stuff, I think. Anyway, whatever. They're still over there. I don't know exactly what they're on, but that's their electronics building over there. So I hope everybody knows where I live, or don't know where I live, because, well, that information, if you was to know where I live, then you could know what to bomb next, and, well, that wouldn't be a good thing to me, because, well, shoot, I'd be obliterated, because they're pretty close. Right. Now, that wouldn't be a good thing. I don't even know why I just said that. That wasn't any good information or material to put out there. Things get up in the cloud and you can't get them back. Once it's there, and that's all there is to it. Once it's been said. Anyway, I never worked there. My dad worked there for a while after he got out of the Army. And then there for a while he decided to get out of that and go into another line of business. And, well, he did. And we proceeded to live our life just fine. So it was a wonderful life. I grew up with my mom and my dad. My dad was a worker, and my mom was a stay-at-home mom until, like, I was 6 or 8. Maybe it was 8 years old or something like that. I was in school, and I was headed for school every day, so she became a teacher's aide. And after becoming a teacher's aide, she went to become a teacher's assistant, and then a paraprofessional, I think is what they called her at the end of her career, when they decided either you leave, or either you opt out and retire, or we'll retire you, but you're not getting any. You're not going to be back here next year. Something similar to along those lines. So she decided she better retire, so she gave up on it. And it was a good job, because back when I had my accident, she, that there eyebrow, I think that eyebrow over there must be all, must be all painted hair dye color, on account of it's not moving much, so don't know why. But anyway, that's null and void. Anyway, so she moved around. I don't remember what I was getting ready to say. Oh, she moved around to a few different schools. She actually got one teacher that really liked her at one of the middle schools, and they moved her on up to the high school with them. And then that teacher kind of went ahead and shot on off back to Scotland or somewhere like that. And so her and her husband left back to Scotland. So she just kind of hung out there until they let her go. And, well, she enjoys her life now. But, I was getting ready to say something about back in 95. It was a good job because she was able to come over to the hospital and stay with me over to St. John's Mercy, which is now just Mercy. But anyway, she was able to come over there and spend time with me during. She, matter of fact, spent time all day there. She just stayed there with me. So, as a matter of fact, at one time at night, I kept telling her that my my oxygen numbers were wrong. And so I tried to tell the nurse. When the nurse came in, and she was like, no, you don't know what you're talking about. And so finally, when the respiratory therapist, that's who they were, respiratory therapist came in the room and checked out my oxygen numbers, she says, these numbers are way off. And, well, my mom, at that point in time, stood up out of the corner because she had been sitting over in a chair all the while watching. And she said, excuse me, and about scared the respiratory therapist right out of her skin. But she said, excuse me, could you go out there and tell the nurses that are in charge of this room to come in here so that you can explain to them that? Because he's been telling them that all night. And they haven't, they keep telling him he doesn't know what he's talking about. And, well, that there occurred, and there was another thing that I ended up with having my tracheotomy that I had. Well, my trach used to get clogged up all the time, and they call this thing suction, where they stick this thing down your throat or down in your trach or whatever. They take it and they stick it down your throat and they suck it all out of there and get all that glob out of there. Well, it was in my trach, I think. And, well, I kept having them come in all the time. And then my doctor, my trach doctor, he came in. And he told me, he says, well, the nurses say that you're having them suction out that trach too much. And I said, well, it gets clogged up. I don't know why, but it's getting clogged up every day really bad, and I can't hardly breathe out of it. And they're like, oh, well, okay, well, you need to lay off of them. And, well, anyway, I was having trouble breathing, so he done what was known as a quad cough on me, and that's where you take an aspirator bag and you pump up the lungs, and then you shove on the diaphragm muscle to make a power cough. And anyway, he shoved on that diaphragm muscle, and I left my mouth shut so that I would cough through that trach. And when I did, it shot that trach right out of my neck, right on over his shoulder, and onto the floor. And he grabbed a hold of it. Now, see, these trachs, they have these balloons in them that are supposed to be deflated before you take them out. Well, he was about ready to change my trach size down to the next smaller size, but he couldn't do it on account when that thing came out of there, the balloons weren't deflated, and, well, it went over his shoulder, and it was all clogged up when he got a hold of it. And he says, well, when this guy tells you he needs his trach irrigated or suctioned out, you get in here and you suction it out, because he does know what he's talking about, and apparently it ain't been being done enough, because I told him it was in need right then. So anyway, that's just the way it worked. When I was at the hospital, I knew, I was very attentive to my care in what was going on. Every time somebody walked in my room and told me something, I retained it real quick and asked them to explain exactly what they were doing, and they all did. And so therefore I knew what was going on. Anyway, hey, it's my time, so I'm going to give it up on you. This here's goodbye, my friends, it's time to go. I said goodbye, my friends, it's time to go. I hate to leave you, but I really must go. Goodbye, my friends, goodbye. Well, this here's Shenandoah Briscoe saying, hello and how are you? You know, God loves you, and so do I. So be blessed in Jesus' name, and come back and see me tomorrow because, well, I'll be here, and I hope you are too.